trying to sway you cause I ain't got all the answers. I'm just trying to convey to you, I be taking some chances. If my shit don't pertain to you, you can check out your man shit. You ain't teach us a damn thing, you ain't give us the game. We was giving you signals, but you ain't give us a lane.
Hi, welcome to another episode of I Don't Have the Answers, but let's talk about it anyway. I'm your host, Tim the Answer Man 4, and I want to thank you very much for joining this week. So, last week, I talked a little bit about gems of joy and recognizing and appreciating when somebody else is trying to bring joy into your life and trying to be that offer that gem of joy to someone else. This week, I want to focus inward a little bit. Everywhere I read and everywhere I've been looking lately, it's all about doing something nice for other people. It's all about making sure that you are conscientious and that you are paying attention to others' feelings and that you are reacting or responding to something in a way that is cognizant that there are differences. And that's all good. But what about ourselves? How are you treating yourself and looking at yourself and reflecting on yourself? Is it positive? Are you making sure to build yourself up? Or are you like a lot of people out there, when you look in the mirror, all you see is your flaws? And that is what shapes your opinion of yourself and the way that you react to when other people pay you a compliment. You can't truly appreciate it and let it absorb and sink in because you are so hard on yourself. That shouldn't be the case. We're always taught that we're supposed to love thy neighbor as you would love yourself. And we can't have that outward display of love if we're not able to love who we are. I know that's kind of deep and not your normal way to kick off an episode, but I want to think about it. I want you to think about it. How do you perceive yourself? Do you give yourself credit for the good that you do? Or is it, that's not good enough, I know I can do better, and you keep pushing? Now, which is fine. You're supposed to keep pushing yourself. But you've got to take the time to appreciate and realize that you made an achievement. Or when you're busy beating yourself up for something you haven't done or you did poorly, think about the things that you did well to get to that point. Because throughout our life, we're constantly telling other people, you did great. And we're all about that whole participation trophy thing nowadays, which is a whole nother issue. We'll talk about that some other time. But we need to focus on ourselves just a little bit. Because we can't expect others to see the greatness that is within us unless we can actually spot it and tell that it's there. So I want to try to run a couple things by you. Every morning for the next week, when you wake up, if you wake up in the morning and do this, or sometime throughout the morning, I want you to take the moment to look at yourself. You can do it in the mirror, or you can do it on your camera on your phone, but look at yourself and say 5 things positive, sincerely positive about you that you notice, that you've observed. And I urge you to try and find 5 new things, because there is a lot about you that either you haven't realized or haven't remembered, but there's a lot about you that you need to appreciate. It could be something small. It's like you look in the mirror and you say, you know what? You really have a great looking nose. Of course, I'm not going to say that to myself because I'm a little self-conscious about my nose. But anyway, do yourself a favor and do that. At some point in the morning, just a little bit of self-affirmation, 5 things nice about yourself. And at the end of the week, if that hasn't helped you through each day, tell me about it. Because I know for a fact that every morning when I look at myself in the mirror and I say those few things about myself that I'm proud of, that I'm positive are good, that I know are something with value, it helps me throughout the day. I can see within myself that I know that I am good at some things. Now, there's some things that I'm terrible at. One may be leaving my shoes in the living room or in my office, or maybe at the foot of the bed where Sharon trips over it when she's making the bed. But that's another story. We're not talking about faults today. Maybe we'll do that next week. But for right now, start the day off by recognizing the good things that you've done in your life. Now, if 5 is too much for you, if you can't focus on 5 things, start with small, at least 1 or 2. But then as you progress and you get to those 5, now you don't take it to the extreme and go overboard and like, wow, you are really one smoking hot. No, don't do that craziness. But that little bit is going to help you throughout the rest of the day. Every day at work, well, I try to do this every day at work. My partner and I, we have these little affirmations and we kind of boost each other up because it helps us to make it through a challenging day. Our job's not exactly the easiest and sometimes it does get a little stressful, but knowing that she's got my back and I have hers, it helps. And when we can boost each other up just a little bit by a little bit of affirmation, it makes the next 6 to 8 hours a little bit more bearable. So if you can't start your day by boosting yourself up just a little, how are you going to expect others to? I know it's another food for thought kind of thing, but I really think it's got the potential to build into something more. Now each week I'm going to try to add a little bit more onto this for the next couple weeks because I really think that if we start January off right by being a little bit more positive and reassuring, that could be the foundation of a great year because I know that we're already struggling. We're already starting off the year politically in a bad place, and some people are starting off economically in a bad place. Some people are medically in a bad place. We got to at least start with our own personal spirituality in a good place. So this is the beginning. Next week we'll talk about something else, another piece of this puzzle. But for now we've got the gems of joy that we can be to each other, and the personal reflection and the boost that we can be to ourselves. We can get through this. It's going to take a lot, and it's going to take a lot of positive thinking, but I'm sure that we can come together and make this successful. Of course, you know what I always say. I can be wrong because I don't have all the answers. Thank you very much, everybody, and I hope you have a great night.
The boy is off Broadway. We're watching.